Hey guys, the final episode of Amphibia came out and I'm going to review it today. So, if you're wondering why my voice is a lot deeper than usual, it's because I have a kind of a cough. So if you hear me sniffling or coughing, that's why. Feel free to feel free to be angry in the comments below. I'll accept this. So yeah, final episode of Amphibia. The hardest thing. Hopefully this analysis is shorter than the one on All In. Let's go. The episode begins right before All In ended, with the core now turning into a spider, going to the moon, and activating it. Then Sprig says, "Hey, is it just me, or is the moon getting closer?" Andrew says, "Well, yeah, that." And where the earth shakes and Polly says, "An earthquake? Don't we have enough going on?" But then it's Mother Rome telling that the prophecy says that the three girls basically have to save Amphibia by pushing the moon back into space. But they might die in the process. Or they may win. Who knows? But then when Anne is about to leave, Mother Rome confronts her and says this. When they arrive there, it's revealed that what's her name was there the whole time, I think. And then the stones are powered into the girls, which then sorry, which then makes them into calamity mode. And Logan Davis had a very uh let's just say my reaction when I saw it. His video will be in the link in the description, and I will subscribe. Also, make sure to subscribe to his channel as well. It's really good. He's the one that uploaded all of these parts for me to use. So yeah, shout outs to him. So then comes the best fight scene in all of Amphibia, where Anne, Sasha, and Marcy all fight off the moon and all the monsters that are inside of it. Then in a scene where I thought that Andreas would turn to the dark side again, not a blatant Star Wars reference, his robots are revealed to be pushing the moon back along with the Calamity Girls. Grime is very surprised about this. But then something bad is starting to happen to Sasha and Marcy. Their Calamity powers are fading, as they are way too much for to handle since, they haven't been activated yet, unlike Anne, where she has had her powers for a while. So Anne decides to make a bold sacrifice and decides that she will push the moon back, while the other two stay on Earth. But she might die in the process. The friends are turned back to their normal selves, and Sasha said something that I thought Sprig said, but apparently not, I guess. Also, if I go into that voice, that doesn't mean I'm crying. I almost did. Yeah, spoilers. I almost broke at this episode. This episode almost broke me, but it didn't. It almost made me crack. I'm not dying. When Sasha and Marcy reveal that Anne might not make it out alive, Sprig is torn and tries to snap Anne out of it by taking Frobo out into space to pep talk Anne into not doing it. Anne turns into a white goddess from using the stones just as Sprig arrives. To clear my throat. Yeah, there isn't really that much theory nationness to discuss here, but yeah, there's a lot I wasn't expecting in this episode, for good or for worse. And then we get a very depressing scene. Anne opens the portal, and the core is finally dead. Also, Andreas braked his braked frick. Sorry. Andreas broke his crown that contained like an eye of the core. And now the core is finally dead, killing everyone in it for the final time. Anne is brought back down to Earth by Frobo, but she's unfortunately turned to stone and has one final piece of life left in her.
Don't cry, Sprig. It's okay. Saving this world was the best decision I've ever made. My only regret is that I never got to see Lovejoy's too.
This is where I almost cracked. However, I would have loved if it ended here and then cut to 10 years later. But no, it doesn't. And I thought this was when Anne lost her arm. Then the reaction of her looking down, very shocked, I thought that was when she lost an arm. But no, it wasn't. So all those theories did not even pay off. And Hot Bob doesn't even die. I was expecting all that to happen, and okay, I can't really call them disappointing because that means I want the characters to die or one of the arms to be sliced off, clean and off. That would seem pretty mean. But then again, Grime did get the arm axe, so I mean, it would have been very unfair if Anne got it as well. She wakes up in a magic world and sees a computer, and it turns out that it's the god of the stones. It eventually turns into Domino, the cat that Anne owns. It says that if it went to its original form, then the person's brain will explode. And that's about to happen to me now. So it chose the cat form. It says that it wants Anne to be the new, complete, cosmic god of the stones, due to her using them for good instead of for greed, which, judging by the company that made the show, is really odd. However, Anne rejects this, saying that
Sorry, dude. Seem cool. I'm just a 13-year-old kid. For every heroic sacrifice, I make 100 dumb mistakes.
she says she'd probably blow up the multiverse if it puts her in that job. So the cosmic god of the stones agrees to this and says that she might join in the next 78 years, which might be when she dies, but at the age of 91, that kind of seems very unlikely after being punched, stung, and completely squashed in every episode of the show so far. So, yeah. She returns to Amphibia, and everyone is flabbergasted that she's still alive. Anyway, the cosmic god gives them some smaller gemstones, which they can only be used once, which means that they can never return to Amphibia. Which means that Anne can no longer see the planters, Sasha can no longer see Grime, and then Marcy can no longer see Olivia and Union and King Andreas, which she finally which Andreas apologizes to her. The girls finally go to the edge of a cliff where the portal is going to be ignited and they all have to say goodbye. Anne gives Sprig her old phone so he can research things, and they may be able to chat. Who knows? After that, the Calamity Box finally fades into dust, getting Thanos snapped away from this world. Also, why does she have two arms? Oh, that's her tail, that makes more sense. Hop says, now what? And then Olivia says they will rebuild the society. Just as Polly grows her first hair. Yes. Andreas is seen growing, and this is actually kind of a time skip. We then see Wally crash into a much more grown-up Polly, now having legs, and now actually having a purposeful body. We see how Amphibia has changed ever left, how to become mayor, and Ewan and Olivia are hinting to be in a relationship, but we actually don't know that. There's an unveiling of a statue of Anne with the Calamity Box pointing her sword. And this, yeah. Uh, what was her name again? Ivy discovers a new continent and she decides to go with Sprig on an adventure to find it. And Sprig says, yeah. We cut back to Earth 10 years later, and Marcy is appearing to come out of an airport terminal to meet Sasha. While Marcy's doing a webcomic, Sasha is doing like a psychological thing. And as you can see, she still has the sword scar that Anne gave her. They decide to drive to where Anne is, and then we guess the final scene in Amphibia. As in the show, not in the actual location. That was the previous scenes I showed you. We see that Anne has become a herpetologist, whatever it's pronounced. Oh yeah, the final Amphibia scene. She says that she named the pink frog after Sprig, an old friend of hers. The kids leave, and we get this scene.
Change can be difficult, but it's how we grow. It can be the hardest thing to realize you can't hold on to something forever.
She said the title.
You have to let it go. But of the things you let go, you'd be surprised what makes its way back to you.
And well, Amphibia. No doubt has the show changed my life forever. What I was expecting was just a cute little show turned into one of my favorite of all time. It has really changed me as a person, and has really guided me into making a lot more series content in my novels. Yes, change can be scary, but sometimes a part of life, the best part of life, is the change. I'm really going to miss this show, but at the same time, not everything can last forever, like Blue Sky Studios. So I just want to say thank you, Matt Brawley, for making this show possible. And thank you, Amphibia. My thoughts of episode 22 comes out on Tuesday. But for now, goodbye. Thank you, Amphibia, for changing my life.